Are you?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay. So, Jim, I thought just for the fun of it,
I would hope so. Kind of the objective. See if we can't get that accomplished.
I thought it might. I thought I would ask you, and I know these kind of questions are tough, but just for
Then
fun.
why wouldn't I thought we were supposed to be having fun?
Well, I think it would be fun. I mean, and I'm interested. If you had to like, go to an island, you're on an island or whatever, and people always talk about, what song, what movie would you bring? If you had to name 5 movies that you think, what are the 5 movies that you've enjoyed the most out of your long career of watching movies, reading the scripts before they were made, rewatching movies? I know you're a Turner Classics addict when you're not watching true.
Well, I always browse Turner Classics. It's getting a little disheartening to see how many movies are showing up on Turner Classics that I remember
they were making when we were.
When they were coming together when you and I were starting out.
I know.
And now it's on Turner Classics, and it's already been remade once or twice, like that movie Gloria.
Yes,
that was. I remember when that script first got written by John Cassavetes.
And he directed it too.
He directed it, It starred his wife, Jenna Rollins, and then 20 years later, Sharon Stone starred in a version of it that wasn't anywhere near as good. But, that movie shows up on Turner Classics. 9 to 5 was on Turner Classics just a couple of days ago.
Right.
I remember when that movie, I think we represented Colin Higgins when he made that movie. So, it is a bit disheartening, but one way of saying that is if you're just like spinning through the what's on TV and you come across a movie and you've seen it before, how many times do we say, hey, I like this movie, I'll go ahead and start watching it right now. I don't care where we are in the movie, just because it's such a fun movie. I'd put Carlito's Way in that category.
Wow.
That's a movie I've seen any number of times, and I can still sit and watch it from the opening to the end and enjoy the hell out of it.
Okay.
I think Body Heat would fit in that category.
Right.
I remember reading that script. It was when I had a hiatus between working at ICM and working at Paramount, a couple of months, and I was living out in Malibu with a bunch of other ICM trainees. We were able to get a great deal on a house not too far from the beach. And I took the script for Body Heat. I hadn't read it yet, but I took the script down to the beach and read it on the beach, and it was a movie on the page. And the movie wound up being basically the script. It's there in the script, and just loving that script. And if that movie comes on, I'll watch it all over again as well.
What Body Heat? Tell me I know Mickey Rourke was in it. Kathleen Turner and
William Hurt.
William Hurt. You remember the? I'm sure that I've mentioned to you before because it used to be real funny. I don't seem to be able to tell it anymore in a way that it was funny. But I was up for a movie that a guy I think his name is Gregory Nava. Gregory.
Oh,
Nava
yeah.
Directed, and they wanted me to come in and read for them, and Gregory Nava, I believe his name is, hadn't really made any movies before that, and I just I knew that William Hurt was going to be in it. And I would have loved to work with Hurt, but I just kind of took a stance that I was not going to go audition for him, and that went on for a couple of weeks, and I finally I was at home where I was living at the time, and it's about midnight or 1 o'clock at night, and my phone rang. I'm like, who the fuck is this, man? 1 o'clock at night. And I picked up my phone, and I said, hello? And he said, Michael? And I said, yeah. He goes, it's Bill Hurt. And I said, oh.
Bill Hurt.
William Hurt, right? Bill Hurt. He said Bill Hurt, William Hurt, whatever he said, whatever his name is. That's what he said. And I was like, oh, like this, wow. And
to what do I owe the honor? Yeah.
And this, this is like a movie star calling. I mean, William Hurt, nobody
Hotter
was.
than hell at that time.
What?
He was hotter than hell at that time.
Yeah. Do you know what year this movie was?
What's the movie called?
I don't know, but Gregory.
Gregory Nava came to prominence with a movie called El Norte.
It was right after El Norte.
Right after El 1983, that era, right in there.
Okay, so
yeah. So it would have been about 84. This is around the time that Hurt had made Altered States, which is a Paddy Chayefsky script. He had made Big Chill.
Oh, the Big Chill, of course.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So he'd been in some movies, and
well, at this point too,
he'd done Body Heat.
And he had also done the movie about the deaf woman who.
Children of a Lesser God.
Children of a Lesser God.
Yeah.
And he, right at the time that he called me, was dating and or living with or in love with.
I think he was
Marley,
involved with
Matlin. Marley Matlin.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, oh wow, it's nice to, I just wasn't expecting it at all, and he started talking, Jim, and he was like, Michael, you need to get the shit together, fucking motherfucker. I can't tell you how many. Fuck, I can't, and it was like I couldn't understand a fucking word he said. He talked to me for like 5 minutes, and he was so fucking hammered. He was so fucking hammered that I just couldn't understand. But, I stayed on the phone. And, oh, how badly I wished I could have, had one of those buttons that was, just push record on that one to hold over Bill's head for the rest of his life.
It's like a David Hasselhoff eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah. I would never do that to anybody.
No.
But I mean, he talked to me for, it had to have been 5 or 6 minutes. And
right.
All I can remember hearing that and remembering being able to recognize was, fuck you. Fuck me. Fuck them. And I was like, all right, Bill. Well, thanks.
He drank and dialed, huh?
Thanks for calling. Sure nice talking to you.
I'll call you back, Bill. Yeah.
And
let's have a drink sometime. Yeah.
And I think that because he called me, I went over to, I think he was at the Chateau. He was at one of those hotels. And I went over to meet with him. And I guess the real holdup, it didn't have anything to do with Gregory Nava. It was him saying, well, can this guy act, or I want to see him act. I want to see something. So I went over to his place, and he had just got done running. It was Beverly Hills now. Where did I say Chateau? No, it wasn't the Chateau.
Yeah.
It was someplace. I know he just got done running. And he came in and he opened a beer and he fucking slugged that down. Here, do you want one? I'm like, well, whatever. And, he started slugging these beers down fast. And, we talked for quite a while. And then I was basically trying to tell him that the words that were on the paper, the words that were written on the paper, weren't the best way to, kind of get across what, what they wanted me to read, what he wanted me to read with him. I just thought was not the best.
What was the movie? Do you remember?
Was it A Time of Destiny? That's Gregory, Nava, and William Hurt.
Yeah, and Timothy Hutton?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I didn't know it was called, I don't think it was called A Time of Destiny, no. So anyway, I was trying to make the point that I thought that some of the stuff wasn't written as well as it could be. And he kind of comes from the place of like, well, make it work. Just make it work. You're an actor, just make it work. And so we went back and forth a little bit, and I read it with him. But I had real misgivings about him at that point and the material at that point. And, I really didn't have my heart in it. And they ended up casting Timothy Hutton in that movie. And it'd be interesting to hear what Timothy Hutton has to say about William Hurt, because from what I understand, I think they shot that overseas, and I think they had where they shoot it.
Looks like they shot it in Croatia, Spain, and San Diego.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from what I understand, they had a real problem with Hurt and his drinking on that movie. And was that the end of Gregory Nava? Did he ever?
No, he went on to do. Wait, let me go back to Gregory Nava. He went on to do Selena after that, and then he did a movie called Why Do Fools Fall in Love, and then after that he did Frida.
Yeah, Frida's
he
not
did
bad.
Frida. It was a pretty good movie.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was screenplay only. He didn't direct that.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, that's. But while I was there, he was talking to his girlfriend over the telephone, and they have a telephone that was like technology back then. This was, what year was it?
87,
88. 88. So I had done Terminator and I had done Aliens by then. So that's kind of me too. Why do I fucking need to fucking, But he was like talking to his girlfriend, Marley, and over the telephone, and their telephone was like hooked up to like a typewriter.
Yeah.
And they would he would type, and she would, I'm not sure exactly. Obviously she was talking. She was in a movie recently, and it was about a deaf family. And what was that? And that was a pretty good movie, or I remember it getting some pretty good.
I think it won an Oscar, didn't it?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Did it win an Oscar for Best Picture?
I believe it did.
Coda. That's what it's called.
Coda, right.
Yeah,
right.
Coda.
Did that win? It did win the Best Picture that year, didn't it?
I believe it did, yes.
Won numerous. Oh wait, that's 94th. Yeah, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay.
Wow. But anyway, I'll always remember him. That conversation was just it wasn't a conversation. It was a one-sided conversation, and Anyway, so you mentioned, and Mickey Rourke made such a impression. That's another one that we could have put on that list. I think we did have and alsos where he had.
We did.
Yeah. He had one scene in that movie, correct?
Yep. Starts off he's singing along with Bob Seger. I feel like a number in that scene, and then he shuts the radio off and starts talking to Bill Hurt. It's a great scene.
Well, Bob Seger. And I met Bob Seger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I spent a little
one of those Hollywood nights.
Well, it's funny because, well, I've got a couple of stories. The one that's kind of fun. First of all, he's great. He's just he was so just down to earth, that's
always really cool to hear.
I'm not really a rock star at all. Just
I'm a fan. I'm a Seger fan. I would have to say.
God,
I can listen to Turn the Page. I can listen to Turn the Page over and over and over.
So can I.
That's a beautiful song.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous song. But I was with him, and he was dating a woman who was a friend of your mother's and of Gina's. And so he would come over and hang out with his girlfriend. And I can remember once taking him out and going hey, let's, the girls are doing this or whatever. Let's go fucking hit this club. Let's go party at this club. He's like, all right, So we go there, and of course, there's a huge line. I'm like, who the fuck that is? Yeah, okay, thank you. And we walk right in or whatever. But it's kind of like during those disco days. Yeah. And it was only years later that I remembered that he had a song. It had the lyrics in it that was something along the lines of "Just give me that old time rock and roll music." I don't need this disco bullshit. I forget the exact lyrics.
That's a song that Tom Cruise dances to in Risky Business in his Tidy Whities. Remember?
I think he probably
give me that old time rock and roll.
Yeah, give me that old time rock and roll. I don't know exactly what the lyrics are, but there's some lyrics that other stuff just can't.
Take that old record off the shelf. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something about the new stuff being full of shit. And that's basically, he probably wrote that song the next morning after I took him to some fucking disco place. Anyway, my other story about him, and I was with your mom with this too, is because of our relationship with him. He was playing in L.A. and he's playing at the Forum. I believe it was the Forum, and I was with your mom and his girlfriend, and I think I did I think I had smoked a little bit of pot right before I went in, and we went in and we sat down. We were in the second row, we were right there, right in front of him, and he starts doing this thing, and about 30 minutes into it, I start feeling a little queasy, I need some air. I just started feeling a little bit queasy, and I got up and I said, I think I need to get some air, and I got up and I walked, and if you remember, I think it was the Forum. You remember the Forum was on the floor, and then you had to walk up a flight of steps to get to the next bunch of chairs, then you walk up another flight of stairs, So I started walking up these stairs, and I can remember looking up and thinking, oh man, like fuck, look how many stairs they are, and like I can't. Wham, man, I was out. I fucking passed out. I
Really?
passed out. Yeah, they had to have the fucking emergency. Yeah, they had to have like the
Wow.
fucking emergency people come fucking pull me out. They basically they took me outside and kind of got me, freshened up
Revived?
a little bit. Yeah, but it was like right in the middle of this song, like right in the middle of like one of his big tunes. And here I am like tumbling down these stairs and everybody's looking at this idiot who's smoked too much pot before he got in there and just tumbling down the stairs. And they took me out. Once I had some fresh air, I got fresh air, but I basically just fainted. It was just fainted, and I ended up going back in and finishing watching the concert. But I went backstage to see him, and I was like so apologetic that because and Gina also was a little bit like, yeah, you took a little bit of the fucking shine off this song. Yeah. Everybody was looking at you, Michael, instead of Bob when he was singing, Turn the Page.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mickey Rourke was Mickey Rourke did one scene in that movie. Okay, you got any others that you? That's three.
Well, there's
two.
another Kathleen Turner movie I would pick, which is Prizzi's Honor.
Wow.
Do you know that movie?
Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson, great cast. Jack Nicholson.
Who directed that, Jim?
Angelica Houston. John Huston directed that.
John Huston directed that.
Yeah,
Was that the last movie he directed?
One of his very last movies, and it, he capped off his career by making a really good movie. Do you know the movie? Have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
Prizzi's Honor?
I don't think I have. No, I haven't seen it.
It's very funny. Nicholson plays a member of a mafia family back east. And he used to be involved with Angelica Houston, which is kind of ironic because in real life he used to be involved with Angelica Houston.
Right.
And in the movie, the character that Angelica Houston plays used to be involved with him at one point. And he meets Kathleen Turner and he just falls head over heels for her. And what he doesn't know is that she is a hit lady. Right. She's also a mafia hit lady. And she also knocked off the family that he works for. She hit a casino in Vegas for $750,000, $700,000 or so. So he falls in love with her, and then he finds out that she's this hit person and a thief, and he goes to see Angelica Houston, his old girlfriend, and he's pouring his heart out to her, and he says, "I don't know which of these do I do? I love her? Do I marry her? Do I whack her? Which of these do I do?" And Angelica Houston says, "Marry her, Charlie. Just because she's a thief and a hitter doesn't mean she's a bad woman in other respects." I just love that line. That's one of my favorite lines in movies altogether. It's a funny movie. It's really good. Got a great plot to it. Robert Loggia is in it. He's terrific. Got some really good character. William Dickey, that old guy. He's in it. He's funny as hell in this thing. Yeah, it's well worth watching. And boy, it's a very impressive movie for something John Huston made that late in his career. John Huston co-wrote the very first movie ever made about Wyatt Earp in 1933.
Yeah. So we were talking about directors and careers, and who has impressive, either the most impressive or who do you think? And, his career, I mean, he really, really, really had a great career as a director. Because he did the Bogart movie with
Maltese Falcon.
Well, yeah, no, this is the one where they're in Africa with.
Oh yeah, well he did a number of Bogart movies like Treasure of the Sierra Madre,
which is a great movie,
wonderful movie. a great movie. Badgers, we don't have to show you no stinking badgers.
That's one time.
Robert Blake is in that movie, if you can believe that.
Is he really?
Yes. He plays a little Mexican kid that they meet in the village. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well,
yes.
His father, John Huston's father, was in that
movie? Walter Huston. Yeah.
Walter Huston's in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting performance by Bogart. I mean,
it really is.
Bogart
Fred C. Dobbs. And Tim Holt is the other guy. He's great too.
The whole movie is really, really, really good. I was thinking about the movie that he did with Katharine Hepburn with the boat.
African Queen.
The African Queen is like an absolute beautiful movie. I can sort of watch that movie over and over. And
that one's fun. That one's a lot of fun.
Humphrey Bogart's in that also.
Yes.
Here's an interesting thing. When he was doing African Queen, he was married to Lauren Bacall. And I've said many times before that, like, I really enjoy acting, and almost every single person I've ever worked with has always been kind of a team player. Everybody, it's like being on a football team, and everybody's kind of have a position, and there might be one that somebody's a little bit more.
You're all aiming for the same result.
Everybody's aiming for the same results. But Lauren Bacall was just like, oh God, I was so young when I did The Fan, and she was so ugly and so bitter and so controlling. And there's nobody else that Friedkin I've talked about as being a person that had no right acting the way that he acted, and I've kind of gone through the whole Friedkin thing before, but Lauren Bacall was just the way that she treated people on that set, the way she treated Ed Bianchi, who was the director of the movie, the way she treated everybody.
I remember you telling me when you got back from shooting it about how horribly she treated, I think it might have been one of the other actresses or a woman who was an assistant or something.
Well, she had a group around her. She had her own like secretary.
Retinue,
she had her own
entourage.
Her
own entourage.
Her entourage. They got it worse than anybody.
Okay.
I mean, she had, she's kind of got this reputation for being this tough, whatever. But she was fucking horrible. So, I was very surprised by, I'm flicking through my phone yesterday, and Rockford Files. We were just talking about him in the last episode that we did. Who are we talking about? James Garner. Well, James Garner was in The Fan, okay?
Yeah.
So basically, if you can go online now and you can see some guy who's basically said James Garner really fucking hated Lauren Bacall.
Is that right?
And his experience, that he was known as a get along kind of guy. He was fun. Everybody loved him, and he loved everybody else. And he was just that guy until he met Lauren Bacall, and that Lauren Bacall, kind of stopped him in his tracks. And I think that they quote him from his book, and he's about as subtle as nobody really like talk shit like I do. Nobody else does that, and so he did. It's his way of saying, she made me very uncomfortable. It seemed like the air left the room when she came into the, I forget exactly what the quotes were, but now, on YouTube you can look up the two of them, and that'll probably pop up. And thank God, finally somebody else, has opened their mouth about
I knew
with
that
her.
he had said that making the movie was a miserable experience and he wasn't very happy
Well,
about it.
you
But
know,
I didn't
you
know
had
that he had attributed it to her specifically.
well,
So that's
you had told me that, Jim, and that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, just because, you know, I didn't know that's what he meant. I thought he
yeah,
meant like it was just a bad movie, and I didn't
yeah,
want it. Yeah, it shouldn't have been on
yeah,
this movie because it was a bad movie, and it
yeah,
turned out it wasn't a very good movie. Mostly because Lauren Bacall's so terrible in it, as far as I'm
yeah, yeah.
concerned, and so grovelly voiced. I've talked about this before on the podcast. Ed Lamont telling me, Michael, we might be in a little bit of trouble, because when I got that role, like everybody in town, I was the fan. The movie was called The Fan. I was the fan. I was
Title character, title role,
playing crazy, and it was a big deal, and I was so happy that like Garner had, and they basically were presuming a lot probably, but they basically quoted him in his book talking about how uncomfortable he was on the set, and working with her. You know, Maureen Stapleton was on that set.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the story
You
that
told
I've
that
told
great
before
story,
about being
yeah.
on the elevator. with
I remember you telling me something about the director wanted it got a couple of takes from Garner and then wanted another one, and Garner wouldn't do it. And he said, "No, you got it.
Yeah,
You
I
got
remember.
it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and Garner would know at that point. You got it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Garner would know, for sure. And but it was just kind of it was kind of like nice to see that, you know, somebody else. And I've always, you know, wondered why she was so bitter, and I've come to my own idea that I you know, back in the day when she was hanging around with Bogart, and it was Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, and she's hanging out with John Huston, and they used to have
she's the one who coined the term Rat Pack.
Right. I think we mentioned this
Sinatra,
before.
yeah, all those guys.
But
Yeah.
but her group was not Sinatra and those guys. Her
No.
group was Betty Davis, and you know that group of people were like extraordinary talented, the talent of that time. What would have been the 40s and 40s,
creme de la creme for sure.
and you know, and then you know she married Bogart, and it's interesting how some people, it seems, get crucified for having an affair and breaking up a marriage. And other people just kind of seem to slide because, you know, Bogart was married, I believe, when he, you know, if anybody knows anything different than this, please let me know, because the way that I've always understood the situation was Bogart was married, and then he met her, and then she said, just, you know, put your lips together and whistle.
Steve, you know how to whistle.
Right. And
blow.
That was the end of his marriage, and that was the beginning of their relationship. And she was with him until he.
And I think she was all of what, 19?
Yes.
At the time?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And he would have been what, 50, 45?
I think he was closer to 40, but.
Okay. Well, he, you know, you know, and I've always felt that maybe she was the way that she was, basically because I just don't think she was a very good actress. She just wasn't very. I mean, like where has Lauren Bacall ever been in a movie where you went like, wow, that is a performance? I mean, how many Academy Award nominations did Lauren Bacall get? I haven't gotten any either, so I shouldn't be talking. But you know, she was hanging around and she got lots and lots of opportunities. And I think what probably happened with her is she sort of like she was so much younger than that group of people who, like you said, were all in their 40s. And then
she was 25 years younger than Bogey.
Okay. And
she earned her first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress at age 72, which she was widely expected to win, but lost to Juliette Binoche for The English Patient.
And what was she in?
I'm trying to look for that.
She was nominated then.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm glad wouldn't want to have been her driver on the way home from the Academy Awards that night.
It was The Mirror Has Two Faces.
She was nominated for The Mirror Has Two Faces?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds like one of those things that, like, you've been hanging around long enough.
She was in John Wayne's last movie, The Shootist.
Yes, she was. Which was, who directed that, Jim? I love that movie. Ron Howard.
Not,
who directed it?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a good movie. Ron Howard. She's like that in The Fan. And she's always kind of like grumpy and kind of mean-spirited and like nasty. And, that's how she kind of wasn't. She's supposed to be like
by Don Siegel.
Don
Dirty
Siegel.
Harry, who was a real kind of classy director from the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
It had Jim, what's it? It had like another famous actor played the doctor.
James Stewart.
James Stewart was in that movie. The scene between him and James Stewart basically, he comes to the doctor. When we first meet his character, he's like riding on a horse, and he sits on a pad, like a pillow that's on his horse. And then you're kind of like wondering, like, well, what's John Wayne sitting on a pillow, And so pretty early on in the movie, he goes in to see a doctor, and he goes in to see Jimmy Stewart. And Jimmy Stewart, like, basically looks him over and tells him he's got cancer and he doesn't have that long to live. And then he leaves, and then the story moves on. And there's a big gunfight, a little bit like The Unforgiven at the end of it, But I like that movie, Well, I like that.
And Stewart and John Wayne had been in a classic movie called The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. So it was sort of like, these two iconic Western figures meeting up again, and John Wayne plays a guy who's dying in the movie. And in fact, he died not long after the movie was made. So the scene has a certain element of poignancy to it, kind of knowing the background of these two actors as well.
What is the Western that I saw recently that had a Gregory Peck, who is a gunfighter who's haunted sort of from the past because he's a gun. It reminds me a little bit of The Unforgiven, where
I think it's probably called The Gunfighter.
The Gunfighter, and he dies at the end of the movie. It's kind of it's a good, really, really good movie. And there's a young gunslinger type of kid that he, right before he dies, said, I drew first or something like that to let this kid off because he knows what the kid's got, whatever. But if is The Gunfighter, yeah.
Well, there's a character named Ringo that apparently runs all the way through the movie The Gunfighter. Only he's Jimmy Ringo.
Well, that's the character that he played.
Is that right?
I believe so. Did he play? Kayla, you can take a look at that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And Ringo is. I've said before. And
Gregory Peck is cast as Jimmy Ringo. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and Ringo is. You hear his name a lot when it comes to westerns, and they're. I'm sure that I've done this one before too, but when I was 12 or 13, a song became a hit for about a week called Ringo. He lay face down in the desert sand, clutching a 6-gun in his hand, shot from behind. We thought he was dead. under his heartland, ounce of lead.
It was one of those
Ringo.
songs by a TV actor who talks most of the song, Lorne Green.
Yes,
right?
Who had his own Western.
Yeah, Bonanza. Yeah.
Bonanza.
It's a talking song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ringo.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I liked it. I liked that song.
I remember the song. I can still, I don't remember the lyrics as well as you do, obviously, but they sound familiar, and I can hear the music, that goes with it, that accompanies it.
Yeah, and it's Lorne Green sort of just talking his way through it. All right, so
I'm sure it's available on YouTube. I'm gonna have to look it up.
what are you and the name of that Gregory Peck movie? That's a great movie, by the way. That's
yeah,
The Gunfighter.
And The Gunfighter. Who directed The Gunfighter?
A guy named Henry King.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
It's a well-regarded movie.
Also, just a fun fact, in The Shootist, Ron Howard was also in that movie.
Yeah. I mentioned that earlier.
Okay.
And Ron Howard.
Right at that point where Ron is starting to transition. I think he directed a movie not long after that for Roger Corman. So he's just starting
Eat My Dust, right? Wasn't it called Eat My Dust? Yeah. And then he did Beetlejuice after that?
No. Ron Howard
Shift?
never did that. He did.
What am I saying?
think he did Night Shift.
Night Shift.
I think he did Night Shift. Yeah. And then of course he did
Cocoon.
Splash, and that's what
Splash.
Splash is what made him and Ron and
Oh.
Fraser, the guys they were. But
Right.
But
Right.
Night Shift was the first real feature that he did for Alan Ladd. So,
okay. What other
another John Huston movie I would put on there is The Man Who Would Be King. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that, Jim, and I
can watch that movie over again. I'd watch it right now
Well,
if it came on.
Sean Connery and Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, yes.
And that is a really wonderful movie, and they've got a great relationship in it. There's something about that movie that, like, my simple brain just can't wrap itself around as well as other movies, like Gandhi, for instance, which is kind of an old period piece, sort of same, which I loved, and Amadeus, which I loved, and have I told the story about Thomas Hulce? Meeting Thomas Hulce over in Prague.
I don't think so.
Amadeus.
I don't think so.
No, you mentioned meeting him when you were doing Martyrdom of San Sebastian, but you didn't really talk too much about Thomas's work on Amadeus that he was making at the same time.
Well, we were staying. We were in Prague. It was it was a communist country at that time, and
still in the Iron Curtain. It still existed.
Yeah, and I was doing that sort of gay version of Saint Sebastian that we've talked about a little bit before. When you go to IMDb and you go on the page, like the highest numbers that I get, like better than Aliens and Terminator and stuff, are these two things that I did for this gay director overseas. One which I think he shot without the studio even knowing that he did it, and I didn't quite realize how gay it was until I got older and people kept sending me
and
pictures.
The pictures start showing up on the internet. Yeah. Coming back to haunt you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you another movie that really attracts gay men is The Fan. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just Lauren Bacall. They got some idea of Lauren Bacall. But usually if somebody wants an autograph and it has anything to do with The Fan, I'm like, I think I've even said it before too. You're gay, right? That seems to be. What was I talking about before, though? I thought I was.
You were telling the story about meeting.
Yeah, Thomas Hulce, and so anyway, he's shooting Amadeus, and I'm shooting this other thing, and we were staying at the hotel. What was it called? Not the Continental, something like the American Hotel,
International or something.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm telling you, back then Prague was like horrible, like bread lines and during the day you'd see
colorless,
ugly.
Yeah.
I remember the director used to always say to me, not always say to me, but he said to me, like, when you're in Prague, always look up. Meaning look at the architecture, because Prague was not bombed during World War II. So, the churches and like everything is intact, and it's a beautiful place. But if you look down, you see, there's something about times that I have been in communist countries. It's the same way when I was in Russia. It's just something dull. It's taken out of people.
I'm sure.
It's really like just not a lot of laughs. Not a lot of smiles. Not a lot of you're really kind of ugly. But anyway, so anyway, we're staying in the Intercontinental, I think it was called, and we're staying in the same hotel. And every once in a while, we'd get together and actually we'd smoke a little pot. I don't remember how or where or whatever. And we did it with a girl who played his girlfriend in the movie, and she replaced somebody that broke her foot. There was another actress that broke her foot and was supposed to play that role. And so this other girl was the last minute replacement. But anyway, they were shooting that with Milos Forman. And, who
had done One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Well, and
so this is a big deal movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't, Jim, I was, I don't know how old I was, but I didn't know. I didn't know that Milos Forman had done One Flew. I didn't even know if I'd never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Wow.
But people have asked on the podcast before, like, what movies, when you were growing up, what movies influenced you, when you were a kid or whatever? And like, I didn't go to movies. That just was not part of the. We would go occasionally. We would go to a movie. I think my parents took me to see Cat on a Hot Tin Roof on my 12th birthday or something like that. But we would go to the. What do you call the outdoor movies? The
drive-ins. The
drive-in. We used to go to the drive-in movies all the time, but I was like 8, 10, 9, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I was paying any attention to that, I was running around looking for little girls.
Especially when you turned 17 and you went to the drive-in, you weren't watching the movie at all.
And by the time I was 17, I had already moved to Arizona, and there were no drive-ins in the area that I lived in. That was just something that I remember when I was a kid. I didn't grow up watching movies. I remember seeing Lenny when I was very young, because I was in Chicago, and my aunt was very artsy, and she and that's anyway. So anyway, getting back. To Thomas Hulce is that Thomas Hulce started coming back and, get together and talk and smoke a little pot or whatever and talk. And at one point he started bitching to me. Bitching. Listen, I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I don't mean anything other than he's a wonderful guy and a wonderful actor, and he's brilliant in the movie and everything. But he was complaining to me about the fact that he had lunch, and he was having lunch, and somebody made him laugh, and he laughed out loud, and Milos Forman said, I'm going to, didn't say to him at that moment, but said, that laugh, I want that laugh in the movie. And he was complaining to me that every scene that he did, Milos Forman was making him do this laugh, this kind of crazy laugh.
Yeah, it was almost a maniacal laugh.
And he didn't like it. He didn't like it.
It made him look juvenile. It made him look lightweight. Well, that was the point of it. Yeah, I can see why he'd get a little groused about it if that's because he does do it a lot in the movie. It's funny to hear you say this.
Well, the thing about it, though, Jim, is when you think about that, when you think about Amadeus, when you think about the character, the first thing that you think about is that laughter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean, and that really cements him as being kind of this
juvenile,
juvenile, like crazy, but like just free loving, wild,
free-spirited,
yes. So it was, interesting that I remembered that, back in the day, back when he was shooting it, and he was just a kid too. He's my age. He was very, very young.
Yeah, he was.
But he was not about that laugh at all at the time he was shooting it,
It's so funny because that is what he's best remembered for in that movie.
Well, I think he's best remembered. Wait, what other movies did Thomas Hulce do?
Animal House.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
He'd done that a few years before. Played kind of an innocent college kid.
There's a character named Solari. Solari.
Yeah.
Who was
Murray
that?
Abraham. He won an Oscar for that.
Yeah,
movie.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, I was shooting one thing in Prague and they were shooting something else. And, all right, have you gotten up to 5? Have you gotten up to 5 yet?
Yeah, that was 5.
I think that was 4.
Well, I was thinking, Jim, more about, when I was asking, people ask me, like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? And people ask me that quite a bit, and it's very hard for me to say this movie. But I do have a favorite movie because it affected my life in a way that made me say, oh, I need to take my shit a little bit more seriously, and I think, that was Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver to me was soul-changing experience where I just saw that performance and just thought that Robert De Niro was just so perfect, and not even knowing at the time how good Harvey Keitel was and how good.
I hadn't seen Mean Streets yet, but I remember being dazzled by the way the movie was made, just the directing of it, just the way he was moving the camera
and
around.
the music. Who did the music, Jim?
Bernard Sherman, the guy who composed all of so many of Alfred Hitchcock's scores.
Oh, it was such a great
he died.
score.
I mean, the movie is dedicated to Herman because he died. He died shortly after completing the score.
How old was Jodie
Taxi
Foster
Driver.
when she made that movie?
12.
Okay. And Jodie Foster is so wonderful in it. And who's the other cab driver that takes him out and gives him
Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle. That's great stuff. Do
Harry
you know that
Northrup
scene?
is that other cat? Yeah. Well, I'm not Bertrand Russell. I'm a cabbie, What the fuck? Just don't get laid, kid. Come on, just cheer up for God's sake,
One of the things.
Yeah, there's so many great moments in that movie. I just was so impressed with the way he directed that movie, the way he cut it together. I mean, he had some edits in there. I was scratching my head wondering what the fuck was that all about? Like when he's looking in the rearview mirror and adjusting it, and then he's walking out of the cab manager's office after he gets hired, and the camera does like a 360 pan all the way around the cabbie garage, and there's no particular reason to do that, but
and we certainly won't quote it on this podcast, but we were talking about people who did one scene in a movie and just kind of stole it. Now, he did not steal it. He didn't steal it with his scene, but Martin Scorsese was pretty fucking good.
You remember it.
He was pretty good.
What 44 Magnum can do.
Yeah. What is the name of the actor who plays the gun salesman too? The guy who sells the guns?
I don't know that he was really an actor. I think he was just kind of a pal that they knew. A guy named, I don't think he was even cast for the part, but they brought him in because the actor who was going to play it wasn't available.
Look at that one. Isn't that a sweet little thing? Isn't that, yeah, go ahead.
They can use this for hunting elephants in Africa. You can hit you can hammer nails with this all day long. It'll center cut on target.
He was fucking brilliant.
A Cadillac with a pink slip, $2,000. What's a drug?
Yeah.
I'm seeing that's just one of Scorsese's friends. His name is
Really?
Stephen Prince.
Stephen Prince. Okay. And does Stephen Prince have any other credits?
Let me look.
I think they made a documentary about him.
About him, really?
Yeah.
Other than being in that scene, was there something more about Stephen Prince that was documentary worthy? Jim?
I don't know. Is Kalen?
He's looking. Yeah, he's looking it up. Yeah, that movie.
The documentary is called "American Boy: A Profile of Stephen Prince."
Wow.
Yeah, it's saying subject to Scorsese's friend Stephen Prince, known for a small role as Easy Andy, the gun salesman and taxi driver. Prince is
Easy Andy. Yeah. Boy, that was a good movie. I mean, every frame, every shot, he's got that thing too that you see every once in a while. I haven't seen it for a long time. I don't live in Hollywood anymore, but back in the day, you'd be at night. It'd be at night. You'd be walking down the street, and it'd just be some crazy motherfucker. This goddamn motherfucker! This goddamn motherfucker! Chris, I'll kill the motherfucker! Goddamn! Walking, cruising by. Used to see that quite often. He had that guy. He had that guy in the movie, and oh man, what a great movie. What a great movie.
Scorsese also shows up. He doesn't say a word, but he's sitting on kind of the front step of the office when De Niro goes into the office to meet Betsy for the first time, Sybil Shepherd.
Yes.
And she's in that campaign office. And he's sitting right outside.
Oh, so he did a Hitchcock. Did a Hitchcock?
Yeah, he's doing a Hitchcock move there. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that to me is. We've looked this up before about what won the Academy Award that year, but that's that's the movie that should have won the Academy. Usually people always say to me like, Val Kilmer should have been nominated for. And I think that'd be interesting to find out who was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, because I think it was the same year as Schindler's List. And the guy.
What movie are you talking
about? I'm talking about Best Supporting Actor. The year that came out was 93. So I don't know, 94 Academy Awards or whatever.
Yeah.
Because people always say to me, Val should have won an Oscar, should have won an Oscar, should have got nominated. But I thought I remember it at one point in my life, like looking back and going, oh, that was the year.
Was it Ben Kingsley you're thinking of from Schindler's List?
No. It's the bad guy.
Fiennes?
Yeah, Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes, I think, was nominated that year, and he was like, whew. That movie, that I was going to talk about like kind of a top 5, and that movie is in my top 5 movies. I would maybe put it at number 5, but that's that. I was going to get to that, and I absolutely adore that movie. Everything about it. It is just a phenomenal movie that's one that I can watch over and over again. And even though the subject matter is so brutal and so horrifying. Again, the filmmaking is like just untouchable. I love that movie.
There's a fascinating story behind the book, how it came about. The guy who wrote it is a fellow named Thomas Keneally, who had written a book called The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, that a director named Fred Skepsey made into a movie.
Yep.
Around 1980. So Keneally was from Australia. He came to Beverly Hills to take some meetings on this movie. And he was staying at the Beverly Wilshire, and he went into a little luggage shop nearby and was buying a briefcase. And the fellow he was buying the briefcase from was a Holocaust survivor who said, "Oh, you're a writer. You should know about this guy, Oscar Schindler." And a couple of years later, and Keneally had a long conversation with this leather goods store owner, and actually wound up taking a lot of this guy's research, some of the stuff this guy had compiled, and wrote the book Schindler's List. And then Spielberg optioned the book as soon as it was released, sometime around 1982 or 3. And it took 10 years to get a screenplay for that. It took a lot of people worked on it. It was really a tough one until Steve Zalian finally came up with the one that was shot. I've only really seen it once, and I should go see it again, I know, but it was so impactful, and I can understand why why you had why it had the impact on you that it did.
Yeah. I kind of would want to talk about each one of these a little bit longer. We're about an hour now, but in my top 5, it's hard for me to decide, but like the second movie after Taxi Driver that I think is just astonishingly brilliant in every frame is Godfather Part 2. Now, Godfather Part 1 obviously is pretty fucking amazing also. Like, it's just like, but both of them, but the thing I like, I guess, so much about Godfather Part 2 is just like you get not only Pacino, but you get De Niro also. I mean, of course, the other one had Brando in it, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's my what is that? My second pick. Yeah. And then I've always thought One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was a movie that was just brilliant in every way.
I would love to see that again.
It's Jack Nicholson, but everybody's just so good in it. And
you remember that was one of those movies like Silence of the Lambs, where the movie swept all top 5 Oscar awards: picture, director, screenplay, actor, actress.
Like you said earlier, Milos Forman. Yeah, it was.
Michael Douglas produced it.
Yeah, and because his dad grew too old to.
His father had purchased the rights when the book came out 10 years earlier, 15 years, almost 15 years earlier.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Another one that I, that I would put after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I just love this movie. It's Cool Hand Luke. Cool Hand Luke to me is just a fucking perfect movie, and Paul Newman is just so good at it.
I would second that for sure. Absolutely one of my favorites. I can watch that if it were to come on right now. I would watch it again. And there's some great actors in that went on to pretty established careers. Dennis Hopper's in it.
Well, Dennis Hopper actually doesn't have a line.
No.
in the movie. I mean, you might maybe hear him chattering in the background, but there's never a shot of him talking. So, he probably had a few lines and they got cut out or whatever. But there's some that movie is wow. That movie is there's an actor in that who is a director, and he directed me in the movie that we talked about, Kaylin, that When You Were Born. I was in not Arizona, Texas. I was down in Texas. It was originally, I get it mixed up because it was originally Time for Killing, I think it's called. A Place for Killing, A Time for Killing, something like that. Lou Antonio, that's his name. Lou Antonio, I don't know if you remember him. He was an actor who was in that movie.
What does he play? One of the inmates?
Yeah, one of the inmates. One of the inmates.
Yeah. Because there were some interesting guards.
Well,
too.
the guy with the sunglasses. Who was that? Who was that?
I don't remember that because he never speaks.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. But he makes a he makes quite an impression on you.
He does indeed with those
shaking it off now, boss. Shaking it off.
Shaking it down.
Shaking it off, boss. Shaking it off.
Saying it's Morgan Woodward.
Is that name of that guy who plays the guard?
Morgan Woodward, the silent, menacing, mirrored glass boss. The man with no eyes.
Yeah, that would be the guy that we're talking about.
Is Luke Askew listed in the
sure.
cast?
I just saw. I just saw.
He plays what the guard who does talk all the time, has a shotgun in his hand. He's kind of, you see him and showing up in a lot of movies, Sam Peckinpah movies, etc.
Anyway, that's kind of my top 5. I
think you just gave 4.
Oh, I did just give 4.
Yeah, you
did
Taxi Driver, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Cool Hand Luke, Godfather 2. And then, I mean, you said Schindler's List earlier. Is that your 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can turn around and talk to me a month from now, and I'll go, oh, fuck, how did I forget? And you know what? Recently, Jim, I've seen only in the last 3 or 4 years, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was so good, and it was Jack Nicholson, being so good, but. I didn't realize how effing good The Last Detail was.
Yeah.
That performance and that movie, that's a great, great movie. And Jack Nicholson is absolutely stunningly good in that movie. And Randy Quaid is so much fun in that movie. The black actor, I don't remember. Otis the third
Young.
Lead, Otis Young.
I think he died not long after the movie was made, which is why
wouldn't surprise me because
see more of him. Yeah, which is like I said, why you don't hear more about him or know more of him.
I'm seeing Otis Young died in 2001.
Yeah.
No, then that's not. That's I was wrong about that then. But. I mean, and it's kind of a downer subject matter.
I know
too,
it's very downer, and it ends in a downer way. I mean, it's a movie that ends not in an uplifting way, but it is you kind of know when you're watching the movie that it has to end that way.
Yeah,
I think. And so somehow it doesn't. Do what Xavier Gens did with The Divide, where everybody's fighting to get out of this hole, and finally this one woman makes it out, and everybody else is dead, and she comes out, and there's nothing left. It's just like
what was that all about?
Nihilistic is like what was the other one that the other one where what's her name plays the drug addict and. Your mother hated it so much. She's always talking about crashing her car afterwards.
The heroin addicts.
Yeah, heroin addict. And,
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yes. That's a jittery movie to watch. Oh, my goodness.
I always call things Requiem for a Dreamish. It's a little Requiem for a Dreamish for me, But I like that kind of stuff, really. I like that kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, I wanted to talk about something that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Are we going to do another hour?
We're going to do one tomorrow. So
can we do it now?
If you got more stuff to talk about tomorrow. I mean, you want to just do the whole thing right now? The whole hour?
Yeah, just keep going, and then you can cut it in half.
Yeah, I have to be somewhere.
You got to be somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Remind me the next podcast. Remind me to talk about Gary Oldman's film that he directed, which is called Without Mouth. Wit now mouth. I forget.
Wit now and I.
No, not Wit.
Nil by Mouth.
Nil by Mouth. It's called Nil by Mouth. Fucking brilliant. Just an absolutely and also like Northern London in who's the star of that movie? The actor Ray, I think it's Ray something or whatever. Just
Winston.
Ray Winston. Just
wow, really.
Jim, if you've never seen that movie and
no,
why people don't talk, and again, that's a dark movie.
like Ray Winston. I mean, I love Sexy Beast, and I'm not crazy about Departed, but he's very good in it. So, I'd certainly watch any movie with him in it. And Gary Oldman, I think, is just fabulous.
Yeah. Well, Gary
I've said before, anybody who can play Sid Vicious and Winston Churchill and nail both parts, that's an actor for me. So
yeah,
he wrote it too.
He wrote it. Yeah. Somehow something feels kind of biographical, about that. And that movie is powerful. It is a powerful movie, and I'm surprised that when people talk about Gary Oldman, they don't mention that more often. But
I've got to look that up.
It is a very
watch that tonight, Jim, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow.
That's my assignment. I got it.
All right. So thank you for
what time are we rolling tomorrow? Do you know?
11.
All
right, Jim. See you at 11.
Over now.